Not sure what that 6,000 kilometers means. That is why I thought someone threw a stone. Look at this. This is huge. Wow. Alright, I'll keep it like a souvenir with me from Kiev. The music you were hearing is just that's free. Some professional musicians playing there, and people just enjoying the. Just look at the vibes here. How can't you fall in? How can't you fall in love with Kiev? Just let me show you how it looks like. So this is square, right? So this is one of the squares of Kiev. This one is very special because it's in front of the Golden Gate. Therefore, the musicians come to play here. The level is quite high. Let's wait for these guys to start. Some adjustments there. Let me show you. There's this cafe stand here. That's just perfect combination. You get your hot drink. It's quite cold. It's like 10 C, I guess, at least. I mean, maximum 10 C. Sorry. And then you get your drink. There was a little table. The kids just took it. I don't know where the kids took it. Yeah, they took it there. Yeah, I don't know what they are gonna do with it. And here are two professional musicians playing for you. This one looks to me more like from the Tsar regime. This style of house. And you see this little statue that you see here, I think it commemorates the pagan time of Kyiv, because Kyiv was Christian. It's actually Volodymyr the Great with his huge statue. I showed it to you that it's actually Volodymyr the Great that christianized the city of Kiev. He ruled as pagan for a few years, but yeah. So that's why he has his huge own statue here in Kiev, probably considered one of the founding fathers of Kiev and Ukraine. And I guess this looks to me, at least, like based on my humble opinion, like some pagan statue. So yeah, look at the architecture here. It's like a store called Kate's Store. So cute, so beautiful. This is the meeting point of all the fashionistas of Kiev. They come here, they have music, they have historic buildings, they have trendy cafes, and they have thick wallets. That's also important if you want to come here. Just for your information, like, I don't think you can even find Airbnb here near the Golden Gate, but if you do so, it's you get nothing for under 1,000 euros. That's 1,100 minimum, which is quite expensive, because where I live, for example, I pay 650 euros per month, and I consider it expensive. It's a normal house. It's beautiful, like it's in the middle of nature, etc. But 650 for Ukraine. That's twice how much a Ukrainian citizen pays for the same thing. Then we come to this monument that you see here, and that soldier that looks like a Cossack. Look at it. I said yes, looks like either Cossack or some Mongols. Ask the girder who can read Cyrillic. She told me yes, this is like to commemorate not a specific person. You might think that this is someone. No, it's more like to commemorate the military service that the Cossacks gave to Ukraine throughout the history. So let's get closer to it. Not sure what that 6,000 kilometers means. So of course originally the Cossacks were the enemies of the city of Kiev. Actually they sacked the city many times. We're talking about the early years of the city of Kiev. We're talking probably, yeah, the city of Kiev was founded in 480 AD by the brothers. The oldest one, they named it after the oldest one. His name was Kyiv, or something similar to Kiev. But what I'm referring to when I say that the Cossacks sacked the city, I'm referring to the years around 980, after 980, 1000 AD. That's when Volodymyr the Great came back to Kiev, defeated his older brother, took over the city, and kind of the city had that dominance, cultural dominance, until today. It is considered the motherland. We are going actually to the motherland monument. Motherland in the sense that this is where kind of the Slavic identity was born. This is where it started. It is not a coincidence that Russia, Vladimir Putin, is having an interest in Ukraine and will always have a link with Ukraine, because this is where the Slavic identity was born. So it's not any city. It holds. There is something interesting to know. The political influence of Kiev and Ukraine was like a roller coaster, went up, went down, etc. But the cultural influence of Ukraine, more specifically the city of Kiev, originally named Kievan Rus, that never declined actually. It was always kind of the place holding the Slavic identity, also the Orthodox Christianity. So yeah. It's not any random city. And fun fact about history, during the Soviet Union, the city of Kiev was the capital of the second most populous republic of the Soviet Union. Because as you know, until today actually, Soviet Union is structured with republics. That is why I thought someone threw a stone. Look at this. This is huge. Wow. Alright, I'll keep it like a souvenir with me from Kiev. I'm gonna watch out my head. Sorry. What I was saying, until today, the Russian citizens is the only country I know have this system. They have two passports. They have a passport, kind of international passport. If they want to travel to France or Germany or any other country, they'll have this international passport. But they also have what they call national passport, which is the passport they use if they need to go to another republic within Russia. I never understood exactly how serious they enforce that rule. Let's say a Moscovite want to go to Novosibirsk, for example, which is more like in the south. It's a different republic. And he wants to take the train, for example. Is someone gonna check like his passport in the train? Do you have like the Russian passport to go from a republic to another one? That I have no idea. But yeah, that's a fun fact. Ukraine was a republic for the Soviet Union. And then we come to this. It's called Saint Sophia Cathedral. Some like to call it Hagia Sophia. Which Hagia Sophia I'm referring to? The one and only in Constantinople. Modern today. Which Hagia Sophia I'm referring to? The one and only in Constantinople, known today as Istanbul. They named this church, built in the 11th century. We are talking about the year 1000. They named it after the Hagia Sophia of Istanbul, that was constructed in the year around 500, 5 centuries earlier than this one. Of course, this tells you the importance of this church, because Hagia Sophia at the time was kind of I wouldn't say the only, but one of the big monuments for Christianity. Again, the Roman Empire moved from the west to the east. We're talking about the Byzantine, right? So that's the eastern side of the Roman Empire. The fact that this church is standing here is a miracle. First of all, it was constructed in 1000, the year 1000. By who? By Yaroslav the Wise. I spoke earlier about Volodymyr the Great, so the one who defeated his brother, Christianized Kiev, etc. Yaroslav the Wise was actually the first prince of Kiev to rule since the beginning till the end as a Christian ruler, because even his father, Volodymyr the Great, when he took over Kiev, he was not Christian. He's the one who Christianized Kiev. His son, Yaroslav the Wise, ruled his entire ruling. He was Christian. He is the one who built this, even though historians, and I think this is the kind of agreed version, is that it is not Yaroslav the Wise who ordered the construction of Saint Sophia Cathedral. It's actually his father, Volodymyr the Great. but one version or the other one, we are talking about the year 1000. This church in 2011 has celebrated its 1000 years. We're talking about 1 millennium. Yes, this church that you see here. Now, why did I say that the fact that the church is standing here is a miracle? Think a bit of the history of Kiev and Ukraine. If we go from the year 1000, what's the biggest thing? If we go back from the year 1000, what's the biggest threats that the city had? We'll start from the Cossacks. They attacked and sacked the city many times. Then the biggest, worst, I would say, invasion they had is most centrally the Mongol invasion. So once the Mongols invaded this city, they were about to destroy this cathedral. They destroyed many parts of it, but again, remember, the Mongols had no business in your religion. They couldn't care less about whether you believe in Allah or Jesus or what. They didn't care about that. The only thing that the Mongols, that Genghis Khan cared about, is to submit and pledge allegiance to him. Only him. No other country, no other ruler. He couldn't care less about which god you are worshipping. That is why the Mongols did not destroy the whole cathedral. They couldn't care about the religious value of it. So it survived the Mongol invasions. The fun part is most of the worst damage that this church had. To continue the story, let's try to get in. But before I pass the gate, this one that you see, let me show you a bit of the outside. Let's start with this one. So you understood it. Number one, it's UNESCO heritage. Number two, it's a World Heritage. This makes Saint Sophia Church the first monument in all of Ukraine to be registered in the World Heritage List, with Lavra Cave, Lavra Monastery, and actually the catacomb and that famous cave built by the monks. I keep repeating church, it's called Saint Sophia Cathedral, but apologize for that. When you look at this monument, you might think it's maybe too old, that's why it cannot welcome worshippers. Has nothing to do with that. I will continue with the events that this cathedral knew once we are inside, and then we will see the link between why people until today do not come here to worship, and most of the people that you see here are actually tourists. They are coming here to visit the first site to be registered in the World Heritage List with the Lavra Monastery. They call them the 7 wonders of Ukraine. There are only 2 sites in Kiev that are part of the 7 wonders of all of Ukraine. One of them is Saint Sophia Cathedral. The second one is the Lavra Monastery, where I'm going after I visit this cathedral. So, to finish the story, let's try to go inside. The interesting part is that despite the beauty of the architecture of this place and the religious significance that this place can have among Christian Orthodox, they refer to it as, let's read it, they call it the biggest museum. Why they call it a museum and not a cathedral or a church or any word that may refer to its religious significance? Because again, this place today is not used at all for any religious ceremony, or if you are, let's say, a Christian Orthodox and you want to come here to your mass and you want to practice, you cannot practice your faith here because it is not used today as a religious place. We will understand after why. So in the 90s, 1990 was inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage List, sorry. Territory is open, so it's open now. Let's try to get in. The bell tower. So this is the tower they're referring to. Let's see when it was built. We're talking about the years 1700, so that's the 18th century. So this tower here is quite recent. Let's try to see the oldest one, the oldest part of the church. Sorry, the cathedral, I keep saying the church. near the motherland monument. This huge statue that you see here is taller than the Statue of Liberty, 102 meters versus 98 meters in the United States versus 38 meters. I'm referring to the statue of Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro. This statue here weighed the equivalent of 10 tramway. You see a long tramway, it weighs about 40 tons. This one weighs more than 400 tons. You might be wondering why they built it. So this is to commemorate what they call the Great Patriotic War. For your information, more than 5 million Ukrainians died during the Second World War. I do not mean here to compare countries or compare the losses of countries, but just to give you an idea, the country where I come from, France, lost less than 300,000 people in the Second World War. The British, less than 400,000. The Americans, less than 500,000. The Ukrainian lost at least 5 million during the Second World War. So I think that a big monument like this and the monuments that you see there, I think, and then you see the tunnel there, I think they are worth building, I would say, to commemorate what happened during the Second World War. It was really, yeah, I think it's the second among the countries that won the Second World War. I think it's after Russia. Ukraine is the country that lost most of between civilians and soldiers. Yeah, I think you recognize this. Is the Soviet Union emblem. That sword is huge. Of course, there, those beautiful domes. That's Lavra, where I'm going to be soon to tell you the story of the Lavra monastery, built by monks. They built it underground. I'm still trying to figure out why the monks choose to build the monastery underground. Was there any special reason? Only thing I know is that one of the monks came from Athos monastery in Greece, and that's when he started the project of building that Lavra monastery. Of course, Lavra monastery is the second oldest religious building after Saint Sophia Cathedral, because it was built around 1050. However, the Saint Sophia Cathedral, there are two dates. There is a date that is like 1017 and 1037. Either date is earlier than Lavra. The two dates, why there are two dates for Saint Sophia, some say that it was built during Yaroslav the Wise. Some say no, it was built, the construction started during his father, Volodymyr the Great. So if it's Volodymyr the Great, then the exact date is 1017. If it's Yaroslav the Wise, then it's 1037. This makes Saint Sophia Cathedral the oldest religious monument of Ukraine, and one of the 7 wonders of Ukraine, by the way, with Lavra. 2 monuments from Kiev are part of the 7 wonders of Ukraine. And here I am. I can't be closer to the motherland than here, just near the motherland monument. A huge statue, taller than the Statue of Liberty. All of what you see there, the statue plus the pedestal, it's 102 meters. The Statue of Liberty is 98 meters. That one, if you were wondering like the weight of it, it's 10 tramways. You see, if you have seen a tramway, that statue weighs 10 tramways. It's about 400 tons. A tramway, I did my last internship on a tramway. The weight of it was 40 tons. So this, think of it, you pack 10 tramway to build that statue. You could see, of course, a lot of war statues here, soldiers all over the places. You could see soldiers here, soldiers again here, all over the place. And of course, a lot of tanks. That one is painted in blue and yellow. You guessed why blue and yellow is because the flag of Ukraine is blue and yellow. To tell you a bit about how that monument functions, let's look at this. That is the pedestal, right? So you enter from the ground of the pedestal. To go to the top of the pedestal, just the pedestal, you'll need an elevator. But I say special elevator because you see the pedestal is inclined. There is like a 15 degrees, 15 or 17, I'm not sure. inclination. Therefore, the elevator like mount like this, inclined. Once you arrive at the top of the pedestal, then there is, of course, that's the first deck view. You could see there is like some barriers around. You can have a nice view over Kyiv city. It's still 37 meters elevation. You see that pedestal is 37 high, so that's a nice view. But let's say you want to get up, and I'm going to tell you why you want to get up to the top. Then you will take a second elevator from the top of the pedestal until, imagine, the chest of the statue. Once you arrive there, of course they will put some special equipment on you. Once you arrive there, you can climb to the arm, the top of the arm of the statue. Once you arrive at the top of the arm, is like the hand of the statue, except planes and birds, you will be the highest in Kyiv, Ukraine. By highest, I mean you will be located at the highest point of Kyiv, Ukraine. Didn't you think what I'm thinking of? So that's how that monument here works. Now it's past at 6 p.m. I can't go there anymore, but of course I will come back another time, and then I will take you with me inside so you can see how the statue works. But it was important for me to show you, to explain to you this from the outside. Did they need to build all that statue? Did they need to build all these statues around me to commemorate the Second World War? One may answer saying that's the Soviets. They like to build things big, pour a lot of money on symbolic things like this. But I would say that's an easy answer, because you gotta look at what happened during the Second World War here. Ukraine has lost at least 5 to 7 million people during the Great Patriotic War. They are talking about the Second World War. I don't mean to compare anything here or compare the losses of countries, but just to give you an idea, the country where I come from, France, has lost less than 300,000 people. The United Kingdom lost less than 400,000 people, and the United States of America less than 500,000. As I said, Ukraine lost between 5 to 7 million people during the Second World War. That is 10 times more than what the United States lost.